Saab, Saturn, Hummer, and Opel. Most of the deals go south. The new GM board vetoing the Opel sale and parting ways with Fritz Henderson by November. I'm not a car guy. Ed Whitaker now in charge after the sacking of Henderson. GM in Detroit all shook up, with outsiders now running all of Motown's not quite so big 3. In Chicago, I'm Jeff Flock, Fox Business Network.
What a year it's been. I'm not a car guy, Ed Whitaker. That was a good line from Jeff. Dan Schaefer's back with us, CEO of Schaefer Asset Management, and financial analyst Uri Man is also with us. Dan, what a year.
It's been a horrible year. I've had investors in those General Motors bonds that got left in the shell company with nothing as they move the assets into the new government motors company. And I still think they're going to struggle going into 2010. The issue has not been resolved. And look, they're cutting the prices on these cars now by $7,000 just to get them out the door. That's a lot of lost revenue that the company's not going to be able to ever get back.
Uri, has this industry changed forever, and was 2009 the tipping point for that?
I think so. I think that the decision by the administration to save the U.S. car companies is probably going to go down as one of the worst decisions any administration has ever made. I think in 10 years from now we'll be in the same place as we are today, seeing the U.S. car companies unable to compete with their competitors abroad. You're going to see increased competition, not just from the Japanese car manufacturers, but now from Chinese, Indian manufacturers for the next 10 years. This past year, though, has been so incredibly horrible. You look at the number of sales, 10.4 million sales in the United States is estimated. That's the worst number since 1970. So you can imagine, 30 years later, an industry selling the same number it did 30 years previously. It's just been a very bad year for the auto industry, and I think it's changed forever. And now that you see that Chrysler and GM have been able to shed some of these burdens, including reworking some of their legacy costs and shedding all of these dealers, they're free to go ahead now it's an opportunity for them to be creative and see if they can put the right product to market. But I don't believe they will. I think that they're going to continue to fall behind, even with these new models like the Ford Mustang that the Ford has put out and the Fusion. I just don't think that the U.S. car companies will ever gain the competitive advantage over some of their lower cost and better managed companies abroad.
Yeah, we're going to see that. We're going to need the new 2010 Mustang is already out there, the 2010 Camaro. A lot of the cars trying to come back, car companies come back to some of their roots. But Dan, it looks like we're back at the same question that we started with at the beginning of the year. How's that for deja vu? Wondering if the U.S. economy can survive, and also the U.S. brand can really survive without an auto industry.
Well, the auto industry is a backbone of a country, of our country. It has been, it's just like the real estate industry has. But when the government gets involved, that's when the issues start to arise as to its going forward stability in the future of operating a company. The government should be governmenting the country, not the companies. And so now like we have in the banking industry now with these pay the people are getting and the curtailing of the money.
But now the government's in, so we can't even really talk about that right now. It's already there.
Right. So what I'm trying to say is that because the government is in there, I don't see any tremendous growth or any tremendous future in this company until the government's out of it. And they have so much regulations and dealings with the government that they can't be a viable capitalistic company and take the risks and take the chances and be innovative like a normal company would be without government control.
And we'll see when actually the government does exit, I should say. We don't really know what the timeline is on that. Uri, we'll be back to you in just a second, Dan, as well. In the meantime, back over to Gavin.
Thanks. Well, the news here, AT&T is selling iPhones online to New Yorkers again after a weekend outage. Now, AT&T didn't offer a reason for the shutdown, saying only that the company occasionally modifies its distribution channels. That answer is leading to